Kempire is brought to you by You deserve roses. You deserve roses that will last you at least a year. So, of course, the Kempire has partnered with Rose Forever yet again. I know what you're thinking, like, what do I need roses for? It's not Valentine's Day. It's not Mother's Day. You always need something beautiful in your home, or you might need a beautiful gift to someone that's moving into a home or going off to college. It's never too late to get something beautiful for your home, especially something that has a great price, ships worldwide, and will last you at least a year. It's worth the money. We've partnered with Rose Forever yet again, so check out the description for more details on how you can get beautiful roses for yourself or someone you love. Happy Libra season. Look, the Virgos showed out during our cameo promo, and I know all of you that are Libras want a special shout out from me. Maybe you want a birthday shout out, maybe you want an anniversary shout out, or maybe you just want to speak to me in some shape or form, or you need advice. We can do all of that through our partners with Cameo. Yes, I'm on Cameo. Get a personal birthday shout out, anniversary shout out, or just a personal message from me today on Cameo. More information on our Cameo will be available in the description along with everything else. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
What's going on, everyone? Look, I wasn't even sure if I was going to go live to recap the Real Housewives of New York. As you know, Bravo has a whole assortment, about to be 5 shows on air at the same time when it comes to Real Housewives of whatever city that is your favorite. And it's a lot. It's a lot as a content creator that doesn't just cover Real Housewives or just reality television. We cover everything in pop culture. And as you know, pop culture has been crazy busy, especially when it comes to the Diddy of it all, or the Jaguar Wright, or the Beyonce and Jay-Z of it all. We just posted a video letting you guys know that Beyonce and Jay-Z have responded legally to a recent interview that Jaguar Wright did on the Piers Morgan show. And Piers Morgan had to come out in a statement. So by now you've probably seen that, but I give you a little bit of insight as to why they felt like they had to respond to Jaguar's interview on Piers Morgan. Who are the people behind Piers Morgan? You might be surprised. So we did a separate video talking a little bit about that. So be sure to check out that video and our live show that we did last night, giving you your Diddy updates. So if you've been missing out on your Diddy updates like Kempire, how come you haven't talked? I did. Last night, I gave you a full rundown of what's been going on with Diddy, including one of the accusers being discredited, allegedly. We shall see. You know, there are people coming out refuting her claims, including the person she named in it, but also her ex-boyfriend that worked for Diddy. We talked about that. We also talk about Diddy trying to get bail for a third time. So if you missed any of that, we did a separate live last night talking about that, along with the Jaguar Wright interview and what Piers Morgan had to say. That's there, but we did a separate video giving you a little bit more background. All right. As always, guys, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of New York City. As I said to you before, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do the recap today versus doing a pre-recorded video or doing a mashup of Real Housewives of New York and Salt Lake City tomorrow. So you guys will let me know, because it's a lot to cover every single day. Every single day we have something to cover. And then we have Real Housewives of Orange County that filmed their reunion over the weekend, which was weird, because even Andy Cohen's like, I don't think we ever filmed a reunion on a Sunday. You haven't, sir. But based on their schedules, that's why they ended up doing the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion on a Sunday. And Orange County on a Thursday is a lot already, because as Brooke said, you know, Brooke Ashley, who stopped by the channel last week with Taria, it's a lot on a Friday. You know, look, I'm not the most sociable person. You know, I like to be in the house, but even if I'm in the house, doesn't mean I want to be in the house working, right? Like, you want your Friday to be your Friday. And as an entrepreneur, my Friday never really is my Friday, but I would like to have a Friday and not think about Real Housewives of Orange County despite them having a good season. But that's not why you're here. You're here for our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of New York City. So we're going to get into that. And don't forget, guys, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps and special episodes like the one that we did last night on the Kempire podcast. Make sure you subscribe today. Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Go give us a 5-star rating. We have thousands and thousands of listeners and downloads, but we don't have that equal in reviews. So make sure you go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and help us reach 1,000 reviews on those platforms. Thank you in advance. We definitely appreciate it. All right, let's get into this Real Housewives of New York City recap. Only one night only. One night only, I will be coming to the West Coast for our November 20th live show. Kempire After Dark is finally coming to the West Coast, Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. So get your tickets today. More information on that will be available in the description. Shout out to everyone in the live chat for our Real Housewives of New York recap. And based off the numbers, oh, Lord. Yeah, we might, because I have to be very mindful of my time. I always tell you guys this. I have to be mindful of my time. This hour or whatever amount of time that we're going to do our Real Housewives of New York recap, I have to make sure that I'm optimizing my time. I could be doing something else that's worth it. And I could always leave Real Housewives of New York City and Salt Lake City for one day and jam-pack that into one show. Because based off of I mean, shout out to all of you that are here. It's not that you're not appreciated, but how many people are here? Oof. This is rough. Look, this is rough. It's okay, because I know a lot of you are working. Some of you are on lunch. It's all right. Shout out to our replay crew. Our proud sponsor today is our friends over at Factor. You know, I love me a Factor meal. They make life so much easier, because when I talk about managing my time, they help me manage my time. Because when you can get a actual healthy meal that's quality in under 2 minutes, I'm here for it. So our friends over at, of course, it's fall. So our friends over at Factor are helping us get our meals together this fall. So they say sweater weather pairs perfectly with savory fall foods. But with your busy schedule, sometimes it's hard to eat the way that you'd like. That's where Factor comes in. Their chefs do the shopping and the chopping to bring you fresh, never frozen, fully cooked meals right to your doorstep. All you have to do is heat and eat. Love that. All their meals are dietitian approved, so you know you're getting the nutrition you need along with the fall flavors you crave. And most importantly, what I love, you have options. No matter if it's gourmet plus that you like, keto, calorie smart, vegan or veggie, you'll always find something that suits your lifestyle. Shout out to Factor Meals. Head on over to factormeals.com/Kempire50 and use code Kempire50 for 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Kempire50 at factormeals.com/Kempire50 to get 50% off your first month, your first box, and plus 20% off your next month. More information on Factor Meals will be available in the description. Shout out to Factor Meals for sponsoring today's Real Housewives of New York recap. Shout out to our King's Guards in the chat, our channel members, and of course, shout out to our subscribers and those of you watching in the bushes. Here's the thing. When our friends Brooke Ashley and Taria came on, I think we all agreed that the premiere episode of Real Housewives of New York felt a little lackluster. But I said it was only the premiere episode. We're on episode 2, and I was by the end of episode 2, I watched it last night, then I watched it again right before this live. And I said to myself, this wasn't great. I'm not looking forward to watching this again or even talking about it. Especially when you have Real Housewives of Orange County that's on at the same time and it's giving you such quality in regards to housewife stuff. And look, it's not that we need drama. We need fun personalities. We need people that are not self-producing. And it does feel like a lot of these women are self-producing, including Jenna effing Lyons. There is a difference in Jenna Lyons this season, and I don't know if I like it. And I don't know if it's producer-driven or if it's her self-producing. Jenna, what we liked about you is your natural powerhouse, laid-back personality. I feel as if Brynn flirting with Jenna has gotten into Jenna's brain, meaning that Brynn can do no wrong because Brynn is always licking up after her. So I notice there is a clear bias towards Brynn for whatever reason. And again, we're watching an edited show. There could be a lot more that Jenna has heard that these women have said about her. But I definitely see her leaning more towards believing Brynn. But Brynn saying that she's carbon monoxide, that text message, I know we're people are going to probably be like, oh, that's funny. That's cute. Blah, blah, blah. No. The more that I look at Brynn, I'm like, there's something more sinister. That whole, yeah, all that little flirty personality is actually hiding something a little bit more dark. And look, we know her history. So we know that there is a lot going on there. And maybe some of that faketry, I'm just making my own word, that faketry that she gives us is to hide that more sinister side. She refers to herself as carbon monoxide. You know what that is. You never know when that's going to hit. The silent killer. Come on. Anyways, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And so this is only episode 2. We have Erin and Ubah go wig shopping. And look, I think some people forget a little bit about Erin's story. So when I see her mom, I don't just see like Erin's mom, you know what people typically see in a mom. But remember, Erin said her mom was like a wheeler and dealer in real estate. Like this is no woman that just, just laid back and, you know what I mean? So she's like a powerhouse and she's battling cancer. And Erin, I appreciate what you did in cutting your hair with your mom, but you could have styled it better. Like it felt like, I was like, okay, you got a haircut, but why does it look like that? Why does it look like that? It felt a little like, you could cut your hair in solidarity with your mom, but why does it look like that? Just asking. Look, just asking. But I liked the scene because Ubah reveals that when she found out her mom needed to have, had breast cancer and needed to go in for chemotherapy, Ubah was one of the first people. No, Ubah says she was the first person that Erin called. And I was like, oh, that's pretty serious. Because, a lot of people look at these relationships on Real Housewives as not real ones. And for the most part, they're not. If we're going to be honest. For the most part, they're not. But it's nice to see that maybe a real friendship has been birthed from watching the show. Or being a part of the show, not watching the show. From being a part of the show. So her mom is busy putting on wigs and things like that. So Ubah and Erin have a conversation, and Erin gets really emotional. First of all, they talk about the whole Jenna Lyons having money issues thing before. So that's when we find out that, is that when we found out? Oh, no. Yes, that's when Erin says in her confessional that apparently Jenna told the ladies, when there was a period in her life that she had money issues. So she thinks that Brynn tried to run with that narrative when Erin was joking about not receiving the money for the Uber. So, I went down a rabbit hole. And look, I always put this disclaimer when we talk about people's net worth, because half the time what you see on the internet, on Beyonce's internet, is incorrect. But I always say it kind of gives you an indication, though, where they might fall in regards to money. And I looked up the net worth of the housewives that are on this show. It's not a lot. And I know Jenna Lyons has had a huge career in fashion, but based on what we're seeing on social media in regards to her net worth, it's not a lot. They're like 5 to 6 million. That's not a lot. And it's not a lot, especially here in New York. It's a lot everywhere else. I mean, it's a lot here in New York to certain people, but for the upper echelon, $5 to $6 million is not a lot, especially in New York. Especially in New York. Okay. Zoe says, I was scared you were not going to recap the episode. I almost didn't, Zoe. I almost didn't. I said, maybe I'll just recap it together with Salt Lake City. And honestly, next week I might just do that. Because, I've been busy covering the Diddy of it all. And now this Beyonce and Jay-Z stuff. And of course, the Wendy Williams stuff. Like, I've been busy. So I have to also prioritize my own health. So sometimes this is fun, though, to do, especially to talk with you guys. But if I can manage my time and do all in one shot, I'd much rather do that. But anyways, back to Real Housewives of New York. Keep tapping your screens. And if you're just joining us on YouTube or Facebook, don't forget to like the video because it's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Pretty says, but she could still afford an Uber. Not from the Hamptons to New York City, though. Or maybe she's cheap. Look, maybe she's cheap. Ooh, Winter says, Brynn's voice ain't worth the recap. Note to self. Rhonda says, Brynn is exhausting. We're going to get, I have my psychology degree. We're going to break down her situation. Yeah, TJ, she talked about this on Watch What Happens. TJ says her lashes are no longer in Target. She says that she's put the lash business on pause. And Andy asked her, are you going to be promoting anything during the season? And she was like, no. Because, a lot of people made a big deal about her and her collaborations during the season. I don't know why. But look, I'm not going to sit here and act as if Jenna effing Lyons, her genius in what she did for J. Crew, it doesn't take away from why we call her Jenna effing Lyons. We don't call her Jenna effing Lyons because she's super uber rich. You know what I mean? At least not in my eyes. Maybe some people associate her power and her influence as her being super uber rich, and she is rich. But that's not why I call her Jenna effing Lyons. I call her Jenna effing Lyons because I love her brain. Look, I love her brain. But that's me. Look, some of y'all are superficial and gold diggers. Anyways, I digress. So apparently Erin says that when they were in, where did they go? Somewhere in the Caribbean. Antigua? Where did they go? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. So apparently during that trip, that's when Jenna Lyons opened up about, her having money issues, I think in the past. So Erin feels as if Brynn sort of ran with that narrative when she mentioned the whole Uber situation. So Erin then also gets emotional talking about some issues with Abe, but she doesn't reveal what it is yet at this particular point. But apparently he made some decisions without her. And this is coming at a time she finds out when her mom is going through what she's going through. So she's like, I don't need this headache right now. It's pretty damning what she accuses, not what she accuses, what Abe did in regards to their money. But look, based off of stories that we've covered, we've heard of husbands doing this before. It doesn't make it right, but it kind of makes him look at Abe like, okay. All right. Sai and Jenna, speaking of Jenna, Sai and Jenna sit down to have lunch, and Sai says she doesn't want to go back to being that angry person in regards to, how she reacted to Brynn. So she says she's really been working on herself. But Jenna now claims, because Sai's like, she doesn't understand why Brynn would run and do that, because the narrative is that Brynn doesn't want any of these women to get along. Anytime she sees any of them getting along too well, she wants to come in and mess that up by spinning a story. So Jenna then claims, she said, well, Brynn wasn't the only person to tell me that. Mind you, first of all, Jenna didn't even remember what she said when Sai brought it up. And they flash back. Jenna was basically saying, it was Brynn that told me that you hate me. So now, the next day, Jenna's saying, well, she wasn't the only person to tell me that. And I kind of look at Jenna with the side eye because it always, at least in the first 2 episodes, it feels as if she's always protecting Brynn. And I wonder if she's falling for the okie doke. Because, every time Brynn sees Jenna, she's like, hi, oh my God, you're the best. I love you. So I feel like, in some ways, I feel like Jenna has a little bit of a crush on Brynn, even though Brynn is clearly gay baiting. And she's not interested in women in that way at all. But she will use her, she's like carbon monoxide. She's trying to get into Jenna's brain, and it looks like it's working. It looks like it's working. But do I believe Sai has said it to other people? Yes. 2 things can be true. 2 things can be true. Anyways, so, even before this conversation, they were talking about their kids. Beckett's going off to college. Sai's daughter is considering applying to go into LaGuardia. So they talk a little bit about that, and she wanted to pick Jenna's brain in regards to that process. Then they talk about Brynn in regards to Sai's relationship with Brynn. Because you remember last season, Sai and Brynn were pretty close. Do I take that as fact? I don't necessarily take that as fact, because we know sometimes on these Housewives shows, that's just what they do to make it seem like folks are close. But it seems as if Sai's like, no, I really was trying to be a good friend to her. They did that whole Brynn Thanksgiving for her at her home. And she says, even this past Thanksgiving and the holidays, she was like, if you're in California, come spend it with my family, despite their issues. And she says, and then she always finds out that Brynn is talking trash about her. So, exactly. Winter says, at least Sai owns what she says. I agree. And it's funny because later in the episode, you hear Brynn say that Sai, like, who says F you in New York like that? That's something that you would probably say if you were in Rikers Island. And I said to myself, first of all, No. As Coming to America would tell you, when Eddie Murphy was screaming out his window, "Good morning, New York," and someone said F you, no, that is quintessential New York. It's a big F you. If someone hasn't said F you to you in New York, then you haven't been in New York. It doesn't have anything to do with Rikers Island. In Rikers Island, you might get cut. That's about it. No, you might get cut still here in New York City on the street. I'm just saying. That's how you could tell that Brynn is not a real New Yorker and she's a transplant. Okay? Anyways, I say all that to say. Then we have the separate scene with Raquel at home with her kids. Cute scene. I like Raquel. I'm not holding her up to a certain standard just yet. It's only episode 2. But I was like, all right, cute scene. I like her and Mel. I like the little cute scene with the dog. The poor dog does look like he needs some help. Poor thing. I didn't realize that Mel was a forensic psychologist. I was like, okay, all right. I'm interested. I'm interested to see this dynamic. That scene, we can move on. So Brynn and Erin have a convo. So it's not lost on me that Brynn says, I'm going to give Erin tap water. Luckily, the tap water in New York City is pretty damn good. This ain't tap water, but I'm just saying. But she makes Erin take the stairs. Do you really believe that the elevator was out? I don't. I don't believe that the elevator was out. Okay? I don't believe that. I feel like Brynn is that sinister. Like she shut down that elevator. And poor Erin had to take the stairs. And they filmed in the summer. And that stair didn't have any ventilation, so you know it was hot. So Erin finally makes it upstairs, and she's like, "Oh, where's Sugar, the new dog?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going to have any sugar time." Girl. and mind you, she doesn't even get up from her chair. She opens the door for Erin, and she's sitting on her sofa. And then, of course, Erin says that, I'm going through a lot right now, and she's getting emotional about it. Pay attention to Brynn and how Brynn reacted to Erin. This is what reminds you that there's something more sinister about Brynn's personality than she lets on. Because literally you see Erin breaking down. If this was someone that you consider a sister or a friend or just even if a work colleague was crying to me about their mother having cancer, I would have reached over, hugged them, held their hand, did something. Brynn did nothing. Brynn just sat there and pay attention to her facial expression. That's why I said there's something more sinister about Brynn, and her referring to herself as carbon monoxide was on point because I was like, that's what it is. What we see is not exactly what we get from Brynn. And her lack of emotion in that moment, and again, that might stem from all of what she's gone through in her life. Yeah, she had a very rough upbringing. Okay? But I was like, look how she's reacting. Mind you, this is my second time watching it. And I'm like, Brynn, did Brynn get up? Did Brynn reach a hand? Nothing. People like that, you got to be careful with, y'all. Like, I mean, seriously, like, I ain't turning my back on this person. People like that, you got to be careful with. Just saying. Just saying. Okay? Oh, Dee, I didn't want to say it. But Dee says, is it me or is Brynn a Karen? Asking for myself. No, you're asking for all of us. Because that comment that she made about Sai saying F you, and I said it's very New York, and she was like, it's more like Rikers Island. I was like, what in the Karen? You could tell you're not from here. Anyways. So Brynn and Erin end up sorry, my nose is itchy. Look, allergies. Who's that? Who has fall allergies? Oh my God. Nose is itching. Oh, okay. Anyways. Ooh, Vagillion says it be the nice ones. End up says body language expert. Pay attention. Foxy says Brynn did not give ish about Erin and her mother being sick. Not at all. I don't even know Erin, and I'm like, exactly. Pretty Pink Survivor says, I don't care if I despise you. I'm going to show compassion for your mama. Yeah. Oh, Winter says Brynn and Erin are Karens. Probably. Look, probably. So they end up having a conversation about their issues. And I don't even know why. Do you think that Erin needed to apologize to Brynn? She did apologize to Brynn, but I didn't feel like Erin needed to apologize to Brynn. But she does. I really wasn't even interested in this conversation because then Brynn brings up the whole radio station situation with Jeff Lewis. And I said, they keep playing it back and you clearly see Erin like, she's not the one saying it. It's Jeff Lewis and his antics and his crew. So I'm like, why are you exactly mad? She says 8 months later, people are still bringing it up. You are lying because 8 months later, ain't nobody talking about Real Housewives of New York. She's like, 8 months later, people are still bringing it that, because she thinks what they said alluded that she gets paid for having, relations with men. But that's not what they said. She twisted that. But she says that 8 months later, people are still asking her or bringing it up. I was like, who? I think people weren't even mentioning you in the last few months when you weren't on TV. Britt says that this combo was not needed. But they have a toxic relationship, Brynn says, because somehow, some way, they're able to resolve their issue. They're able to resolve their issue. And she's like, yeah, I gave you tap water. And yeah, I wasn't going to give you any puppy time. I'm like, okay, maybe that's something that was done to her as a kid. I don't know. All right, so we get the scene with Jenna and her son, Beckett. I like Beckett's energy. And I said this last season, I feel like whatever Jenna did as a mom or as a co-parent did a good job because he seems so well adjusted. He seems like a good, decent human being. But I think Jenna's a decent human being, blinded a little bit, but a decent human being. So they go rock climbing. I'd like to do rock climbing, but I have a couple of injuries. And I'm like, I don't know if I should risk it. But Jenna's like deathly afraid. Beckett runs up the basically the wall, and then she goes to do it, and she's like, I don't want to do this. Okay, but she does it. But she also gets an update in regards to where he is when it comes to school because she talks about when she moved to New York. She moved to New York. She went to the YMCA on 34th Street. Anything on 34th Street, I'm like, at Penn Station. But yeah. So she said, when she moved here, she never went back home. So she's worried. She wants to encourage Beckett to go off and, go far away for college and do that. However, she's afraid that he won't ever come back. Here's the difference, Jenna. He would be coming back to New York City. He wouldn't be coming back to a small town. However, there are plenty of people that leave New York and never come back after they've gone to college. It makes me wonder if I had gone away to college myself, if I would be here right now. But again, you don't have those regrets because can you imagine the people that you've met, the people that you've dated, the experiences that you had, where you are right now? You're kind of like, well, if I didn't come back to New York, if I didn't live here, what would that life been like? Would I still be here? You just don't know. Winter says Penn Station is dangerous. I mean, New York can be dangerous. I wouldn't say it's okay. Yes, it can be dangerous. It's just dirty. It's just dirty. It's gotten better though. No, let me take that back. I mean, it's gotten a little bit better because they built out like it's gotten better. It used to be worse. I did see a man at the train station. When was I going? I was going to Philly. Yeah, I was going to Philly, and I took the train, and I went to use the restroom, and a man was washing up in the men's room, and I look, it's not a big deal to me. I mean, another day in New York City. I mean, if anything, that's a lighter thing that's happened in New York that I've witnessed. All right. Okay. Ooh, N-Dub says, try it, Kempire. If you are into Pilates, you will definitely love rock climbing. It's all core strength. Wear wrist strap. Oh, that's what I should do. You're right, N-Dub. I'm going to try it. I'm sure there's quite a few places here in New York. When I was in Portugal, they had a rock climbing place in the mall. I was like, wow. So maybe I will try it. Stay tuned. SW says a little bit better because of Hudson Yard. Yeah, that's probably why. Oh, Winter says, I'm from Harlem. I know these things. I mean, Harlem can be a little dangerous, but that's been gentrified too. Oh, Critical says Penn Station is bad, but Port Authority. But a lot of these places are changing, but look, crime is down in New York. All right. Don't judge us. Look, don't judge us. Right, Los Angeles? Los Angeles, I'll be coming to your city on November 20th for the Kempire After Dark live experience. Get your tickets today. More information is available in the description. We will be at the Bourbon Room for the last Kempire After Dark live experience here in the United States for 2024. So you don't want to miss this. So if you've been wanting to experience the show, it's going to be a special one because I'm going to talk about all the things, including the diddler. Okay? I can't wait. And have all the time in the world just to talk about everything and everyone. So make sure you get your tickets today for the last Kempire After Dark live experience here in the U.S. Stay tuned for more information. Okay, but more information in regards to the Bourbon Room will be available in the description. Oh, Taurus Moon. Shout out to everyone that's affected by the hurricane that's about to hit Florida, if it hasn't already. Taurus Moon says, hey, Kempire, thank you for coming on to calm my nerves. The hurricane is coming to my town. Stay safe, Taurus Moon. And then if you've been told to evacuate, I hope you guys have evacuated. It's not just for your own safety, but it's also for the safety of the first responders as well. All right. You guys are definitely in my prayers in Florida. I have quite a few friends and family that live down there in all different parts of Florida. Okay. Winter. Winter, thank you for asking this. Kemp, how did you feel about the Staten Island conversation? Well, look, I get it. As someone that was born and raised in Staten Island of New York City, it is one of the 5 boroughs. So I am still a New Yorker. Shut up. But it is sort of like a diss, and that's why Erin reacted the way that she did when Brynn tried to refer to her as a Staten Islander. She's like, I'm a born and raised New Yorker. That is a born and raised New Yorker, Erin, but I get what you're saying. Staten Island's a little bit different, but it's still one of the 5 boroughs, okay? Please and thank you. But I completely get the dig. I completely get the dig. Damn, y'all. Look, I don't own them anymore. I don't live there anymore. But still, okay. Oh, Winter says, the Staten Island shade, be real. I'm guilty. Everyone in New York does it. People still do it. And I'm like, I don't live there, but you're from there. Just saying. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for the gifts. Thank you, Judy, for the gifts. Shout out to our King's Guards holding us down on multiple platforms. We're live behind the scenes here on TikTok, but we're also live on Twitch, Twitter, and on Facebook. We're talking about the Real Housewives of New York. Let's move on from this conversation with Erin and Brynn. Okay. We already talked about Jenna going rock climbing, but here's the thing that I want to talk about in regards to this scene with Jenna. Cute scene, nothing to see here. Well, apparently Jenna gets a new car. So I have a couple of theories here. Either Jenna wanted to downplay the whole narrative that she doesn't have money by this new car that's worth $217,000. Beautiful car. Do I think that Jenna Lyons doesn't have money? No, I don't think that. But then I also know that producers, the network, loves to paint a picture. And I think with the conversation about her not having money and that being out there, either Jenna wanted us to know, no, I still have money, or production wanted to play it off and make it seem as if, oh yeah, we need to make sure that Jenna effing Lyons is seen as the big dog amongst these women. Does Jenna still have that car? First of all, having that kind of car in New York City is pointless. But in the Hamptons, I can see her driving that car. But I was like, wait, is this production trying to make us feel like Jenna has money? Or is this Jenna trying to make us feel like, yeah, there are no money issues here? But if your net worth is $5 to $6 million and you bought a Bentley for 200, I guess. And remember, $5 to $6 million net worth doesn't mean you have $5 to $6 million in the bank. Sassy says that's a house. Not in New York. I mean, you could maybe in New York. I don't know where, but maybe Staten Island. No, not even Staten Island. $217,000. I don't know. Here's the thing. Whatever it is, it was a moment. That was the biggest moment of this Jenna scene. Overall, it was okay. Guys, if you had to rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New York City from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Let me look at the shout out to everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter. I see you guys as well. Let me look at how you guys are rating it. Not good. You guys are rating this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New York between 4 and 6 with 49% of the vote. Replay crew, be sure to let us know how you would rate this week's episode as well. All right. Guys, don't forget to keep liking the video. It's easy and it's free. See, SW agrees with me. SW says production because they needed people with money or the perception. And the only reason why I say that is because word on the street, I heard that's what they were doing in Dubai. A lot of those women don't have the money that they pretend to have, but production wanted to make it seem like everybody's rich. You even heard Andy Cohen say it during their reunion. Oh, you're all rich. So stop fighting. No, they're not. No, they're not. Anyways, I say all that to say, let's move on. All right. So Erin has this dinner with her husband, Abe. And of course, this is where we find out why they're having their issues. Do you believe that their issues are real? Because there's a part of me, because again, remember, I feel like a lot of these housewives are self-producing. Part of me feels as if maybe if this was an issue, it was an issue that was a long time ago, or it's real. And that's pretty damn bad that Abe would sell off their Bitcoin and never tell her. Like this happened a few years ago and she just found out. Do you believe that? Or do you think that this was an issue from years ago and they needed a storyline in their marriage? Like, why are you playing with your marriage? But then again, if this is real and this is what he did, I'm like, that's breaking a lot of trust. That's breaking a lot of trust. And she didn't give an amount. I wonder if, I'm sure during the reunion, Andy might ask, like, how much did he actually take out of the account? And mind you, that wasn't the only thing that happened. Not only did Abe, Erin's husband, take out their money in regards to the Bitcoin, he took it out to pay off some bills, apparently bills that she didn't realize that were there, that they were in debt. Which, again, this happens in marriages. But there's a part of me feeling like, are they just doing this now to have some sort of storyline? Or is this something real? Because if this is something real, like, this is a serious situation, Erin. That's a serious thing to lie about. Sidra says, I think he's cheated too along with this money stuff. I think Erin told herself, and this is probably why I don't believe her story right now. I think she told on herself last week because she seemed very calculated. She's like, you can't talk about mushrooms on camera. And I'm like, oh, are we self-producing right now? And clearly he was joking. It wasn't like, I was on mushrooms and that's what happened. It wasn't like that. Tracy says, I think he's a perv. Tracy, why do you think he's a perv? Taurus Moon says, Erin comes from money, right? Yeah, both her parents. And remember, she was talking about her parents were in real estate and her mom sold I forgot what the properties that she sold. Was it Lincoln Center or something like that? So they're moneyed folks. And she talks about that in this conversation with Abe. She basically says there were plenty of people wheeling and dealing and they wanted me. I didn't have to do anything for it. And people really wanted to kind of do the things. And he was like, he felt pressure because of that. He knew that she had a lot of options when they got together. So he kind of probably spent a lot and did a lot or promised a lot that he couldn't do. I can kind of believe that. But I don't know. I feel like this could be an old issue, not something that just happened, that she just found out about. And Erin, and I'm not saying that because there are plenty of partners that end up getting blindsided by their partners not realizing what they did. But Erin seems like a smart cookie. Erin seems like the type that's looking at her accounts and things like that randomly. Not years later, let me check my Bitcoin. I don't know. That's just the feeling that I get. I'm not sure. And that's why I'm keeping my good eye on Erin. Because even the way she set it up, because remember, she kept on sort of dropping the hints since last week. And I was like, is she trying to set us up for something? It just felt a little calculated to me. You guys let me know. Pretty Pink Survivor says, they definitely do the shrooms. She didn't want the world to know. I know her reaction was sort of like, it's not like he said that's what you were doing. You said it on camera, though. They flashed back to that. Just saying. Anyways. So that conversation felt a little calculated. But if he did what she said he did, that is a big red flag. How would you feel if your partner spent, I don't know how much money the Bitcoin was, but if it was enough to pay off debt, I need to know the amount, because for me the amount means something. Because if it's like a couple $1,000s, or if it's $5,000, even if it's $10,000, but if we're talking about a couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's a lot. What about $25,000? Even that, I'd be like, you spent that without telling me? And that's both of our money. So basically you stole. Thief. Thief. But this is not the first time we've heard of couples having issues like this, where a partner, this is why it's great to have separate accounts. But you need that one account to pay the mutual stuff. But, Winter says, divorce. If he can do this, he can do anything. You know what they say, if you lie, you steal. If you steal, you kill. Just saying. Ooh, Archie says she's the man in the marriage. She's lying. Ooh, Taurus Moon says she needs to leave his... You know what? SW says she's like Heather. They want to look all put together. Okay. I don't know. I'm watching Erin with my good eye. I mean, both of them are good. I got 20/20 vision. Anyways, so Sai and Ubah. Oh, wait. Let me bring up this picture of Ubah. Ubah, girl. This is why I always say it's good to be Team You, because Lord have... Ubah, what were you thinking? What in the... Hello, Dolly. Say hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. Oh my gosh. What? Ubah. Like, I didn't mind the other blonde look that she had because it felt young and youthful. But this one, it was giving Upper East Side, white lady. Ubah's a beautiful woman. Okay? Ubah is a beautiful woman. But we love you just the way that you are, Ubah. Like that look she gave when she was going into this shop with Sai. Gorgeous. Like her beautiful brown hair, skin, the sweater dress, like she has impeccable style. But when I saw this confessional look, hello, Dolly, say hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Look, what is going on? It's the wig, really. It's the wig and the makeup. Because the makeup makes her fairer than she actually is. We love her chocolatey skin. Ooh, Sevi says Susie Orman. Could be Susie Orman, too. All right, let me pull up a picture of Susie Orman. If we're going to go there, we got to make this fun because the episode wasn't great. Susie Orman. Let me bring up a picture of... Oh, damn, it is giving Susie Orman. Let me give you some Susie Orman. I love me some Susie Orman. Don't nobody say nothing bad about no Susie Orman. I love me some Susie Orman. Hold on, let me bring Susie over. Now I can't unsee it. Now I can't unsee it. Oh, this is a Yo, listen said this is a Karen wig. That's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, this is giving very like I'm a Karen wig. It's all right, Ubah. We still love you. We know that you're gorgeous. All you have to do is take off that wig and you're gorgeous again. Just saying. Thea says, what in the Carol Channing? Oh, Carol Burnett, maybe. Hey, She's So Fancy. She's So Fancy says, Erin has been whining since season 1. She's a control freak. If she doesn't have her way, she spirals downward. Did Abe break the bank or did Abe have the 3? She promised him without her. Damn, She's So Fancy. Lethal. I need to know the amount because I think the amount makes a big difference. Right? The amount makes a big difference. If it was a couple of $1,000s, yes, it's a lie. However, if it was like $50,000, $100,000, what did you do with my money? But do I believe Erin has her own FU account? Yep, I do. And I'm sure her mother told her to have one. That's the thing about us New York girls. We're not getting caught out there like that. Okay? Let me see what you guys are saying. You guys are our best. More like Joan Rivers? Oh, no. Not Joan Rivers. Dee Dee says that Twitter's calling this look Dorinda. Oh, Lord. You know, I was on the Upper East Side the other day, and I was walking by Dorinda's ex-boyfriend's dry cleaners. It's literally like a little hole in the wall. But as soon as I walked past it, I was like, and I'm sure I probably wouldn't be the first person to walk in there if he was there working. What are you doing here without Dorinda? I wanted to really do that. I wanted to do like a little bit of a TikTok, but then it wouldn't work. He wasn't there. I would have loved to walk in and do that. You guys are a mess. Now it's Carol Brady. Y'all are a mess. There's so many looks. Basically, it's every white woman with a blonde wig that Ubah was giving in this moment. Damn it, Ubah. Anyways, back to what Ubah was talking about. So Ubah and Sai. Okay, but speaking of bad wigs, did you see Sai's hair? What was that look? What was that look? This is the second time. This is only the second episode. But this is the second time where I'm like looking at Sai's hair and I'm like, what was that look? I don't have the picture for Sai's hair, but I didn't like that. That looked like a wet mop too. I said it. Look. Anyways, so they end up talking about, because Ubah says she doesn't like the fact that in this group that people are twisting people's words. So they end up talking about the Erin and Brynn situation. And of course, it seems as if, and Sai will agree, it feels like Brynn, anytime she sees people getting close, she comes in and starts making stuff up. All right. Honestly, I didn't even care about this scene. It was cute to see them hanging out. It was very clear that Sai and Ubah, I think since the end of last season, these two have gotten really, really close. I've seen them hanging out off of the show quite a few times. Tracy said the Jerry curl. It just looked weird. Dee Dee said, what in the soul glow? Y'all are a mess. Shayla says, clip. Oh, okay. Shakita says, I have two of my own accounts coming from a Florida girl. Y'all Florida don't play either. I'm not going to argue with a Floridian either. I'm just saying, y'all don't play. Always have your FU fund. It's a little different in gay relationships. We always going to have our FU fund. Just saying. All right. So that was an interesting scene. Let's just get to this final scene. Brynn, Jessel, and Rebecca are going to take the helicopter to the Hamptons, to Erin's house. Already in Ubah and Sai's scene, Ubah was like, yeah, I'm going to drive up. So Sai's like, can I drive with you? Because Ubah's like, it's not that I don't want to be with the other women. I just prefer to drive. There are a lot of people that would not want to get in a helicopter. You remember JFK Jr., right? I mean, the helicopters go there all the time. There's never a problem. But there's some people that have the real fear. So Ubah and Sai are going to drive up together. Jenna FaceTimes Brynn and lets her know I'm driving up in her new Bentley, okay? But Brynn, Jessel, and Rebecca are going to take the helicopter. So Brynn asks the lady, can I put skanks up there? And of course the lady's like, sure. Look, sure. But Brynn takes the fact that Sai is not coming up there with them is that Sai doesn't want to be around her. Sai doesn't want to be around her. And that's when she makes the comment about Sai acting like she's from Rikers Island in regards to not being a New Yorker with saying F you. And I said, that's the most New York thing you can do. Winter says the Puerto Rican inside doesn't want to be in the helicopter. She brought up a valid point. She says as a mom, she doesn't want to be in the helicopter. I get it. God forbid something happens. She doesn't want to leave her kids. I get it. Or maybe she really didn't want to be around Brynn. I don't think that was it, Brynn. You're thinking too much of yourself. I don't think that was it. I think if you were flying private, like an actual plane, maybe she probably would be more inclined to do it. But a helicopter to the Hamptons, although it sounds fabulous, I can understand there are people who are fearful. Okay. Yes, Foxy says Brynn said that she was a public. I can never narrow down what exactly Brynn's profession used to be, because clearly that's not what she's doing now. Okay. Jessel arrives, and look, Jessel and her quirky commentary and her not being able to get into the building without, look, her hands were full. At first I was like, just close the umbrella, but she had a coffee in her hand. She's like, she can't get in. Brynn is like, I'm not going to help her. I'm just going to watch. Sinister. Look, sinister. So Rebecca arrives. So it's Rebecca, Jessel, and Brynn. So they didn't realize, they thought they were waiting on more people, and they're like, okay, none of these people are coming. Let's go. So that's when Brynn brings up, everyone is reporting that you're a Scientologist in regards to Rebecca. Because you remember when they announced that Rebecca Minkoff was going to be on the show, it came out that she was a Scientologist. So, since, Leah Remini came out and blasted Scientology, what people feel about Scientology. Scientology has really received, what's the word? Like, people don't look at Scientology as a legitimate religion anymore. They're like, they look like a cult. So the fact that we have someone that's a part of this said cult, allegedly, that made big headline news. So Brynn and Jessel confront Rebecca about it. Like, what should we say? Rebecca says, tell them no comment. And then Rebecca goes on to trying to explain her side of it. And even in her confessional, I was just like, what? Even her analogy about going see the movies and the credits, and then I'm like confused. I was like, Rebecca, first of all, you're not a good spokesperson for the religion, because... And then Jenna Lyons in her confession is like, every religion has an extreme form of it. Okay, Jenna. Okay. That's making it seem as if Scientology isn't the extreme form. Like, there is no other iteration of it. Scientology itself is the extreme form. It's not like Christianity and all the little iterations. So, okay, Jenna. But she says she's not going to join. Okay. Jessel, in her commentary, she's like, well, at least they have cute people a part of the religion. Okay. But Brynn is like, I am so confused. It's like I'm talking to Chat GPT. Ooh, Winter says, come on, Winter. Winter says, I live across the street from a Scientology church. I'd be speeding past. Here's the thing. You don't have to, because there ain't nobody in those buildings. If you go past a Scientology building, a lot of times the only people that you're seeing is the security. If you followed me on my journeys, because I've traveled quite a bit around the world, I happen to run into Scientology buildings all the time. I saw it in Amsterdam. I saw it in Japan. Did I see it in Portugal? I can't remember. Usually I take a picture because it's like, what is this doing? And half the time they're empty. I remember when I was in Amsterdam, I stayed at a hotel that was across the street from one, so I could see in there at night. Nothing was going on. It was empty. It's empty. Just saying. And then you're probably wondering, why is it empty? Well, that's a whole other rabbit hole for you to go down, okay? Go watch Leah Remini's documentary on it. Foxy, I'm sure there's a Scientology in Sweden. Have you gone past one? Oh, Taurus Moon says, them people are weird. They run Clearwater, Florida. Yeah, they have organizations everywhere. That's where the Sea Org is, right? In Florida. Just saying. Oh, hey, Theo. Theo says, the poll rating, this episode, between 4 and 6 out of 10. Eek. For the live chat and those that are watching the replay of this, what would be your specific rating? What would be your specific rating? Archie says, hey, Amsterdam is the best, the coffee shop. And Archie's not referring to actual coffee shops, if you have been to Amsterdam before. Anyways. Oh, Winter says, why do they have one on 125th? Who's the Scientologist in Harlem? It's not necessarily about the area. It's more so about the property. That's where they make their money. Real estate. So there's probably no one in Harlem going to one of those places. Pretty Pink says, a side-eyeing all religions these days. Well, I know we all are. Theo says, I'm giving them a 5. So how would I rate this week's episode? It wasn't great. A 4.5. A 4.5 for me. And I think I'm being generous with that. Sidra says, 4 for the wigs. Fine. So they end this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New York with them talking about Rebecca and her being a Scientologist. Rebecca's a friend of the show. Honestly, at this particular point, Rebecca's not really bringing anything. So I will wait and see. It's only episode 2 to see if she brings anything based off the previews. I don't see her bringing anything in the future. So all of this smoke for her being a Scientologist was sort of pointless. But we shall see. We shall see. If you guys do want to call in, I'm going to drop the call link to the general audience first. This is like the first time that we've ever done that. No, we've done that before. but I will drop it here. Don't forget to like the video, guys. It's easy and it's free. I'm dropping it here on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you want to call in and share your thoughts on the Real Housewives of New York City, we'll take a couple of callers and then I'm going to get out of here because I got to go hit the gym. What else do I have to do? My life. Look, like life. I've been working since this morning. Can I go do nothing? Look, can I go do nothing? Zoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Zoe says, Erin is mad at Brynn for pulling an Erin on her. Ooh. Remember how she presented the I don't fly coach comment to the girls in regards to Jenna effing Lyons? This is true, Zoe. You got a good point. I'm glad you remember from last season because I could barely remember last season, to be honest with you. All right. Okay. Let me go back down and see what you guys are saying in the chat. Thank you for the super chat. M. Crust says, I love how you say Susie Orman. All right. All right. I'm giving you guys a couple of minutes before I go because we just dropped the call-in link for you guys to share your thoughts on the Real Housewives of, I was going to say Orange County. I wish. Tonight is a new episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I think next week what I probably will do is just do like a major recap on Thursday, maybe Thursday, and talk about Salt Lake City and New York then. Maybe. And yes, I definitely will be bringing back the Brooke Ashley and Taria Faison for our Real Housewives, our ultimate Real Housewives takeover. Stay tuned. We can't do it on a weekly basis because people have lives. Like Brooke. Brooke's, on a Friday. Come on now. All right. Shayla says, drop the link. I feel like if you're not actually a wife and or in the brink of separation or divorce, show us what it looks like, please. And I did drop the link. Zoe's backstage. We're going to bring her up in just a second. Let me pull that down. Okay. Dee Dee says those Salt Lake City girls are bringing. And that's why I feel bad combining Salt Lake City with New York because I feel like Salt Lake City have been bringing it since their premiere. So I'm not doing that to the Salt Lake City girls because I don't feel like they deserve a full hour to themselves. But I think just based off of time, sorry, New York. I was really, because my thing is if New York was bringing it in these first couple of episodes, I'd be like, all right. But, Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.